Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 3 of Movie Dumpster. We're talking Rumpelstiltskin today, so fucking strap in for this boy. Directed by Mark Jones from 1995. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
And welcome to the Dumpster.
Here I come, little Johnny. Uncle Rumpel's on his way.
So you said this was Mark Jones?
This is a Mark Jones joint.
For some reason I was like, why does that name sound familiar? And as soon as I hit IMDb, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Bingo!
Oh, fuck.
This fucking guy directed and wrote the first Leprechaun movie and has written all the subsequent movies.
And also was apparently a writer for Alf for an episode, which explains a lot.
Well, I love Alf, dude.
I love Alf, but also he also was a part of the A-Team writing team, which also makes a lot of sense for something I'm going to bring up in this fucking movie.
And then he made an awful movie not too long ago called Triloquist. What a piece of shit that movie is.
Well, I mean, when your film before that is Leprechaun Back to the Hood, the only place really to go is further down.
And you think that, like, that's the bottom of the fucking barrel.
You think that's it. That's the bottom of the pit. And then he's like, nah, I got my shovel's still sharp, buddy.
Do one of you guys want to talk about, in a nutshell, what this is about?
It's about the story of Rumpelstiltskin for about 5 minutes, and then you're thrust into contemporary 1995, and then the whole thing plays out again to seemingly decent results, right up until a certain character shows up, and then everything just completely withers away. Any bit of joy I had in this film, either ironically or sincerely, just dissipated as soon as this Max motherfucker shows up. He is the fucking worst.
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Hey, I'm like a dime store. What the fuck is his name?
Andrew Dice Clay. This guy sucks.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay. I'm wearing Peter Gabriel's sledgehammer as a shirt.
Oh, God. We'll get to that fuck in a second.
We will.
So, we open up somewhere in Europe. We don't know where exactly, but it's the 1400s. So Rumpelstiltskin is fleeing this mob that's after him because he's taken a baby from the miller's daughter, who, if you're not familiar with the Rumpelstiltskin mythology, he spins straw into gold for this woman, and she promises him her baby in return.
Which, like, none of that is present. It's just give me a baby. That's all it is.
Well, afterwards, but in the beginning, he strictly says, like, I spun the gold, now give me the kid's mine, we made a deal, we had a deal, and she broke it. And she didn't guess his name, obviously. So they run him towards a cliff face. The mob corners him, and they're just like, give the baby back. And he's like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna eat this kid. We had a deal, I'm gonna eat this baby, and there's nothing you could do about it.
And there's not much they really do about it, honestly.
And no, that's not true. They have a duel to see who has the stronger glitter.
I love the one guy, he goes up there, he's like, I'll get him, steps over the fire.
And then the 4-foot-tall gnome picks him up with one hand. And basically with seemingly the same hand, plucks his eye out.
Yeah, and eats it like a friggin' meatball.
Which then moves by itself, having been severed from its owner's head.
There's a lot of good effects in this, and that's not one of them, and I'm surprised. No. Because Kevin Yeager had done all the effects for this movie, and he's phenomenal.
I was gonna say the incoming shootout is pretty impressive.
So they corner Rumpelstiltskin at the edge of this cliff, and he's like, yeah, bring the pain.
What is he, Brock Lesnar?
Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry.
Apparently he's a fucking sadist, and he enjoys it.
I do like whoever was playing Rumpelstiltskin. He seemed to be having the fucking time of his life.
Max Grodénchik, and he was in,
lots of stuff, apparently. I just looked him up a few minutes ago.
Most famously for, Star Trek Deep Space Nine as, Rom.
Okay.
So this witch comes up and throws fucking glitter at him, and they light him on fire, and she puts a curse on him and turns him into a fucking lawn ornament.
Yeah, a little green turd.
He turns into like calcified shit.
Like, I know, I guess they're going for a jade statue, but I just wasn't, it didn't...
No, it literally looked like an elephant turd. Like, it took me a while to make out any distinctive features on it. I was like, did he just turn into just, like, basically poo? And then I look closer, I'm like, oh, there's his face, but it's really hard to see.
And apparently, like, glitter is like a universal magic tool that they just throw around.
Yeah, he had it first. He was like, come at me, and he throws it, and then it makes fire. And then this witch comes up, and then she throws it at him, and it turns him into a stone. I'm like, okay, so glitter has varying effects in this universe.
But, like, is it different grades of glitter? Is it who has the glitter?
Maybe he had glitter, and she had, like, powdered mercury or some shit. I don't even know.
So they torch this fucker, and he turns into a lawn ornament, and she picks him up and puts a curse on him. And the curse is that may he be bound in this stone form until a mother sheds a tear and makes a wish on this fucking stone. And she takes it and she throws him into the ocean, apparently to sink into the depths of the sea.
Here's my question. Why, if you're going to curse Rumpelstiltskin to never return, would you have like this one caveat that could bring him back?
Yeah, why would you put an out clause? I don't understand.
I don't know either. And she's like, for 1,000 years. So, like, when 1,000 years is up, does he just turn back into Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah, if he is this big of a terror, why would you give him, like, an exit clause? Like, you're stuck in this stone piece, unless...
Yeah, but, like, they have this stone piece. Why don't they just crush it or something? Just fucking kill this thing.
I have the same problem with the ending. Like, bury it in the fucking ground and then cover it with 80 tons of cement and then never speak of it again.
That doesn't fucking matter, because remember Jumanji?
That's exactly what I was at.
When they're, like, excavating this fucking thing, and he just pulls it out of the fucking dirt, and there it is.
Drop into a fucking volcano.
There you go, like Kazuya.
So they throw him over the cliff and he sinks to the bottom of the ocean in the middle of Europe. Okay?
Okay, you know what? I didn't even make that connection. That they drop this thing in, like, a river in Europe and it ends up in, like...
It's not a river. It's a fucking ocean. They throw it into the ocean.
The Atlantic Ocean and ends up in fucking LA.
So fast forward to Los Angeles, mid-90s Los Angeles, and we're pumping some fucking cool Mo D, and he's just like,
push it to the limit. I'm in it in a minute. I got to come to win it.
oh my Christ. I feel like this is where Mark got the idea from. He's like, oh, you know what?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think this is where this all stemmed from. And then he finally got a chance. Like, they were sitting around like, fuck, we need another Leprechaun movie. And he's like, whoa, I've been sitting on this.
It's like John Peters and his fucking spider.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's gonna fight a big fucking mechanical spider in this movie.
I got it. Gangs versus mystical creatures.
What's funny is that if you watch Man of Steel and think about that, he finally got his wish.
No, he got his wish in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, but that wasn't Superman. This time Superman fought a big fucking multi-legged mechanical bullshit.
In which? Man of Steel?
In Man of Steel, yeah, at the end he fights the what's it called? The terraforming device has like big old legs and tentacles and shit.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
I haven't seen that whole movie. I've seen the Zod fight, that's about it.
So he fights the Technodrome.
More or less, yeah.
Technodrome, let's kick shell.
So yeah, it's like introduced to two, like you said, kind of like you thought the two main characters are Russell and John, two cops on the beat. They have to take I think they say a code 7 at the coffee shop.
But before that, so Russell's having a child with his wife, and these two guys are going back and forth about my wife wants to name the kid after a flower, but it's a boy. You got any boys' names that are flowers? And the guy's like, oh, Thorn. Yeah, and they name him Thorn. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, what if they name him like Basil or Basil rather?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, perfect.
Thorns are on flowers. They are not a flower.
Yeah, so that doesn't really make any fucking sense. And then, the kid's going to come out with a fucking monocle on.
His middle name's fucking Wapplethorpe.
It's Basil of Baker Street.
Basil Wapplethorpe.
Hello, mother. Hello, father.
I demand milk this moment.
Give me my goddamn strained peas, would you? So they're talking about this and they're like, geez, all this fucking baby talk's getting me worn out. I need a donut. So they go to a shop to like stop for a donut. And then Russell gets a call from his wife.
On his giant brick 1990s cell phone.
Oh yeah, his fucking like Delta 76 or whatever the fuck it was called.
With an 85-foot antenna on it.
So he's on the phone with his wife and she's like, can you pick me up some little baby onions and some yogurt? And he's like, yeah, sure, babe, you got it. And as he's on the phone, this gang member comes up and carjacks this woman with like a baby in the front seat of her car. And this fucking guy is about to steal this car, like with the kid in it. She's like, oh, no. Like, all right, you can have the fucking car. Here's the keys. I'm gonna just let me get my baby. And he fucking cracks her upside the head with his gun. And he's like about to get in this car with the kid in it and like steal the baby with the car.
What do you profit from stealing a baby?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Especially if you're a gangbanger.
Why not just, like, let her take the kid and just take the car, dude? Like, what's your problem? So Russell sees this and, like, drops his phone and he pulls out his gun and he starts running towards the guy. And the guy turns around and just fucking starts lighting this dude up. There are squib fucking blasts all over this dude.
All these squibs are so damn cool, too. Like,
oh my god, it's a good scene.
That bullet hits his leg and his kneecap just, like, explodes. By the way, this is all done in slow motion. Every single bit of it.
So you get all that fucking red goodness coming out of him. So this fucking cop takes like 4 bullets. He gets it in the leg, he gets it in the gut, and he gets it in the shoulder. And he falls down, and the fucking guy starts running away. And like with his last breath, he like sits up and fucking pops this dude right in his fucking back of his head. And it fucking explodes.
Right in the back of the head, and blood goes everywhere. Oh, it was so comical. I was like, damn. Again, we're still in slow motion at this point. So it's this dude is running, and just the back of his head with a hat on just goes and just pops.
It's like literally 2 minutes of slow motion squib action, which is nice.
So he dies. Clearly,
yeah. They like bring him to the hospital. He ends up not pulling through, and he fucking dies. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, like his wife hears all of this on the phone. Like the phone drops, but it doesn't hang up. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wouldn't this stress hurt the kid in any way that she's carrying?
Oh, this would be devastating.
Yeah, but like hearing your husband not only like get shot on the phone and you already think he's dead, but then like be like, oh, he's at the hospital, and then they get to the hospital, and then he fucking dies in the hospital, and the doc comes out, he's like, nothing we could do. See ya.
What's funny is I'm watching this, and I've been conditioned my whole life to think that shoulder wounds are like basically like, I'll be fine. And then I read somewhere it's like, yeah, getting shot in the collarbone is basically guaranteed death.
Because there's main arteries there, right?
Yup, you will bleed out in minutes.
Yeah, so he's fucked.
Flash forward, now the movie kind of like shows the baby's been born. Shelly's still mourning her husband. Named the baby John.
The baby John.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's named after her husband's partner.
They don't really come out and say it.
They don't say it one way or the other, but that's the way I took it.
I mean, you think they named the baby like Russell, like after his dad, but let's just name it after his buddy.
Which, by the way, very shady. And then we're transported to Merlin's shop of mystical wonders from Mystery Science Theater.
Her friend Hildy comes over, and this woman, my god.
Every line out of her mouth is like has sexual undertones, or like just a really bad joke.
She always had a voice like this, and she never said anything that wasn't a giant squeak.
Dude's this, dick's that, I'm taking it this way and that way, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, we get it. You don't have a boyfriend, and you want a man, and you haven't had a date in forever. And let's face it, this woman hasn't had a fucking date since like 1975. So she's like, oh, let's get some food and check out this antique shop.
And then they meet Merlin. I'm sorry, wrong movie.
We meet fucking Matilda the witch. This woman is fucking badass.
She's got a great shop, by the way. She's got cobwebs. She's got a Slappy doll that moves on its own.
The Mystery Science Theater joke is not just for here. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, okay, now more than ever, not just because of the Merlin Shop of Mystical Wonders comparison, it just felt like a Misty episode. By this point, it felt completely like it belonged in that show. And it's not even... That's not inherently a bad thing, I would say, but it had that charm that I was really enjoying at this point. It's super cheesy and schlocky.
Apparently, she like visits this place all the time, or like that she knows, Hildy, like knows about this place and has visited it before. But this place looks like it's been closed since the fucking dawn of time. There's cobwebs all over the place. There's like an inch of dust on everything. And then we're treated to this old hag eating fucking like salmon out of a fucking can.
With a cigar sitting in it.
And then she fucking puts the cigar out in the salmon and then takes another bite. Like, she likes smoked salmon, apparently.
I was very tired watching this. Like, the beginning, I kind of went in and out. I came back and finished it because the heat was killing me. But I missed that sequence. That's hysterical.
So she puts the fucking can down to go talk to them, and apparently it's a fucking bush baked beans can. And it's like, wait a second.
What? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so like,
holy
okay,
cow.
So you transferred some other dirty shit can food into another shit can, and then you fucking eat it with a cigar in it. This woman's fucking hardcore, man.
Oh, I see you got some Campbell's there. No, I put Vienna sausage in the Campbell's can.
Yeah, fuck it. Delicious.
I like when they mix the broth or something.
So our main character is actually,
Shelly. She's walking around the shop. She doesn't really, she's kind of like appalled by it all.
She's Russell's wife who has the child and all that.
She's looking around the shop. Nothing's catching her eye. She's kind of creeped out by everything. But she sees something down low on the ground by the cobwebs.
The creepiest thing in the whole fucking shop.
Yeah, the giant Rumpelstiltskin, as Connor put it, elephant turd.
It's a goddamn troll doll.
Literally a giant nugget.
And it's green and it's sparkly and it's,
It's glowing.
She picks this thing up. Now, the whole time she's like, it's fucking creepy in here and this stuff's gross and I don't want any of this shit. She picks up the worst thing in the shop and is like, man, this is really intriguing. I just gotta have this fucking thing. Matilda's like, oh no, my dear, like, you don't want that thing. There's some fucking bad juju on that. She's like, it's not for sale. Put it back. And she's like, oh, it has a price tag on it. She's like, no, just put it back. You don't want that.
Do you think what was his name? Mark Jones?
Yeah.
Do you think he saw Gremlins and was like, I think I could do that better?
Where did she even get this fucking thing? It's supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean next to Europe.
On a snorkeling trip off the coast of
New Jersey.
This bitch is keen on the backstory to this thing. Why does she have it on a fucking shelf for sale?
Put it in a fucking box and lock it in a vault. Why do you have it? Why do you have it on the show floor?
Put it away.
I mean, I could almost see if it was like a Hellraiser situation where a whole thing was like put into motion by the demon, basically.
Oh yeah, it's like some place in the Middle East and there's like some shady trade going on in a fucking opium bar.
Yeah, like you mean like how the box kind of had its own sort of agenda that was pushed by the Cenobites, where like there's kind of a system to it, but like this is just like, no, it's clearly one thing and you should never touch this thing again and it should be left wherever it was found, and instead someone got it, put it in a fucking shelf and slapped a price tag on it and was like, yeah, see, I can make a buck off it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
exactly.
it. So she's trying to make a buck off it, and she's telling this woman that, like, you don't want this, it's the worst thing ever, there's a curse on it, but she keeps making it sound appealing, like, no, you don't want that. But if you make a wish on it, it comes true. But you don't want it.
It is the equivalent of going to a yard sale and finding the lament configuration and having some guy come out and go, that's not for sale. It's the most diabolical device in the universe. I'll give it to you for $10.
Yeah, it comes with a free Frogan. She ends up making a deal that we don't even see, and apparently she just brings it home and puts it on her mantle next to her dead husband's picture.
Which is convenient for Rump.
Yeah.
Because then she, she makes her wish about wanting her husband to be back, and a single tear
Drops on this fucking statue.
and then the eyes light up.
Yeah, and then it turns into like a little rubber monster and like takes a peek at the picture sitting next to him, and then he
Scratches his chin like, yes!
So that's Russell, eh? All right. So this woman's going to bed, and there's like a knock at the door, and boom, it's her dead husband, and he's totally fine, and he comes in, and he's like, I missed you.
I like how he's in his police uniform too.
That's not weird at all.
There's no bullet holes or anything in him, like he went back down there and got a brand new suit and fucking comes home.
And his wife doesn't even think, it's just like the picture on the mantle.
Yeah, wait a minute, you were blown away. She doesn't question him at all, right? I guess she thinks she's having a dream, as we come to find out. We're treated, I guess that's not even the right words. There's a fucking 3-minute passionate love scene between her and her dead husband.
It ranks in scale of awkwardness, in a scale of like 1 to Watchmen. It's like a 7.
All the while, there's a child in the crib, like right next to them.
Yeah, thank God you could see your son. By the way, get over here.
So they're bumping all fucking night. They fall asleep, and she wakes up, and he's not next to her. And she's like, oh, God, that was one hell of a dream. I fucking came so hard. Then she hears the fucking shower running, and she's like, oh, shit, is this a dream? And she gets up, and it's a total fucking, like, stunt butt that gets out of the bed?
Oh, this was hysterical. Like, she just gets up, and I'm like, come on, guys. Like, gratuitous nudity alert.
Yeah, but like, why do we even have that? Like, you could have just cut from her getting out of the bed, walking into the bathroom.
Oh, it's completely pointless. And it's, first of all, you don't see it. Not that I condone this, but like, there's no shots in the front. It's just a weird, awkward butt angle of her like just stark naked in like the morning light, just walking to the bathroom.
It reminds me of Rawhead Rex, where there's just that random like one
Tit
scene,
shot.
Random boob assault.
yeah, just like thrown in there just for the hell of it, because that's rated R. Why not?
Yeah.
This woman gets up and like hangs for a cool second, and then walks into the bathroom like, you see my ass? Okay, here it goes.
People sleep naked. It's a fact, but this was the way it's filmed. You're like, come on.
It's just silly. So she goes into the bathroom and she's like, holy shit, my husband's really alive. He's really in there taking a shower. So she walks up to the shower and opens it up, and this fucking little Rumpelstiltskin's in there, And he's like, hi, come on, you want to come join me, sweet meat?
This next stretch of film is my favorite part of this whole movie. This entire string of events leading up to you-know-who is amazing.
The best part about this all, like when when Rump comes back, not only does he want this woman's baby, but he just got laid.
She literally got nothing out of this deal. Like, he fucked this woman all night long, and now he's like hosing off, and he's like, all right, I want the baby now. I want the baby John.
He doesn't even technically grant her wish. He totally tricks her, and he's like, now I get your baby.
Which I guess is part of it. Like, he doesn't make a deal with her at all. There's no bargain. There's no like, I'll give you this for this. There's no baby eating mentioned anywhere.
Yeah, he doesn't like hand her a brochure like, oh, you didn't read this, and he.
Here are the terms and conditions of Rumpelstiltskin and Co.
Yeah, sign on the dotted line. So he literally just appears, has sex with her, and then takes a shower.
And he somehow knows how to work the shower.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna get to that. Modern technology is a breeze for troll demon Rumpelstiltskin, who has been asleep for 1,000 years. When he's in the kitchen and like this whole thing is going on, but he's like, give me a baby, and then like she's trying to fend him off, and she stabs him in the head, and he says like, you can't kill what doesn't have a soul. And then like when he just pops the knife out of his forehead, like ploop, with no blood or anything.
He just took a knife to the head and he keeps on ticking. Except for fucking brooms. She takes a broom in the very next, like right after stabbing him in the head, she picks up a broom and starts like hitting him with it, and he's like, oh shit.
Oh no, straw.
Yeah, and then she shoves it down his throat, and it's, for some reason this comes up like 4 or 5 times throughout the movie. Like, you really hit a broomstick in this guy's mouth and he's alive?
Yeah. Oh wait, it is straw. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that was like a subtle hint.
Oh shit. Yes. Okay.
Spoiler alert, straw hurts this guy. Because I didn't even think, I'm just like, a broom. I didn't realize, like, who the fuck has a straw broom in the 90s?
Yeah, very true. This leads to her escaping with her baby in her car, and he's out the window, he's like, chariots with no horses!
And then jumps out the fucking window!
Fucking head dives out the window onto her!
It's like a 5-story building, and he like just jumps right out onto the top of this car.
There's 2 window gags in this movie that just made me laugh my balls off. And then I had to pause the movie because I was cracking the fuck up. She gets in her car, she kind of drives him off the hood, and then in full Doppler effect, runs his ass over with, it sounds just like this. A clean shot of her just running him the fuck down. With that scream, I paused the film and was basically in tears.
Was that the time she runs him over and he disappears and then he's laying on the road in the next shot, or was that the next time?
Yeah, I think it's the next time.
I love how when he first comes out of the window before she runs him over, he punches a hole through the window like he's the fucking Terminator, and he goes, don't get any blood on the baby. So this movie makes a ton of Terminator references. I don't know if I'm the only one that thought that, but I want to say like this might be the first one, him punching through a windshield, or that might be a stretch, but there's one coming up. There's
I think you're adding to it now.
Yeah,
but
I'm just bringing it up now so that when these things keep coming up, that I'm not like just pulling it out of my ass.
Now that you mentioned it, yes. Especially for a certain elongated action sequence later on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one that kind of like put the idea in my head in the first place.
So she takes off, and I don't even know where the fuck she goes. They don't even tell you. I guess she goes to the police station because it cuts right to the next day, and they're back in the apartment, and she's like giving her statement to the
which
to the
I thought
chief.
was kind of weird. That made me immediately think of Ghostbusters 2 when Dana has the slime monster attack her in the bathtub. She doesn't then the next day like come back.
Tried to reach out and grab me.
But I don't know why my brain goes to Ghostbusters, but I was just reminded of that scene a lot of like, yeah, they didn't go back when a fucking ghost came after him, so why are you going after for Rumpelstiltskin? I guess she didn't see that movie.
So they're back in the apartment, and she's giving her statement to the chief, and she's like, listen, don't worry about it. Like, we're fucking, nothing's gonna happen to you or your baby.
He's like, oh, it's someone that was on PCP.
Yeah, she's like, nah, it was a little satanic freak, I swear to God. So Hildy's like, oh, you can come stay with me tonight. So her and the baby go to Hildy's, and she's like, yeah, and by the way, my psychiatrist friend's coming over, so we could talk all about your fucked up mental state.
By the way, penis.
I'm gonna get a dick eventually. I think what does she say in that scene?
I began to tune her out because she was annoying the hell out of me.
No men allowed, just us.
Yeah.
So-
Except for you, Baby John.
Except for you, Baby John.
They have their dinner and their rosé.
By the way, Hildy is super accomplished. I don't know why she's so worried about, like, getting a date or, like, talking about these fucking men. Like, she's got this beautiful-ass house. She's got, like, a fireplace and, like, leather furniture, a fucking house in the mountains, and all this stuff in, like, suburban California. Why are you even worried about finding a man? Like, why don't you just go out and fuck and call it a day?
She just look. I mean, realistically, it's not totally out of the realm possibility just want a nice dick sandwich, I guess.
That's fine, but she's like, oh, I need a man. I gotta have a man.
I need it or I'll die.
Well, that's like her one character trait.
And it's so fucking tired by, like, the second scene. It's like, ugh, we get it. That's all she has to add to any conversation, though.
Well, fortunately, she doesn't last very long. In, like, what, the next scene, Rumpelstiltskin's already in the house?
Well, the psychologist is like, hey, how's it going? So want to tell me about your problem? And she's like, yeah, this happened. And she's like, oh, yeah? You want to know what I think? Rumpelstiltskin, that'll be $150.
You know, she randomly pulls out this, like, fucking ancient-looking Bible-ass fairy tale book, and I was like, yeah, Rumpelstiltskin right here. It looks exactly like him.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. Big problem. Lots of people have to deal with this.
Yeah, because Hildy has this extensive library of all these old books, and they tell the legend where it's like, oh yeah, you know, Rumpelstiltskin stole the baby, and he wouldn't give it back unless she guessed his name or whatever.
Yeah, so at hour 1, they knew how to beat him, and they don't figure it out till the last 5 minutes of the movie.
She even says it.
They say his fucking name. The whole point of the Rumpelstiltskin story is that they're supposed to guess his name, and they're just like, oh yeah, Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, but like she even acknowledges the fact that he already asked her that. So you obviously know this isn't a person, it's some kind of weird demon thing. What else could it be? It's fucking Rumpelstiltskin. All there in front of you. And they even go as far as to say, like, oh, you know, it was a daughter, you know, a Miller's daughter spun the gold. And Hildy's like, oh man, that's so weird. Your name's Miller. Your maiden name's Miller. You're a Miller's daughter.
Rumpelstiltskin gets there with the motorcycle scene, doesn't he?
Oh, not
before that. He just kind of appears. There's an open window, and it's inferred that he kind of just sneaks in through there.
Yeah.
And then he, for whatever reason, decides to, you know, make camp in the closet.
This fucking guy has been busting through doors and all this kind of shit, and he takes the time to sneak through this open window and hide in a fucking closet.
He camps.
Hilda goes in there to get some blankets for Shelly. His fucking face is in the coats. It's like E.T.
He waits in there for a while.
He waits in there like all fucking night. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why doesn't he just take the baby?
If nobody knows he's there, why just get out and take the kid?
John is in the crib while they're all fucking drinking and having a ball in the other room. Like, just take the kid and go.
And the thing is, like, this house looks like it has an open floor plan, but then, like, when Rump finally makes his entrance, he just, like, breaks through a fucking wall, like, right through a china closet.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, you took all that time to, like, stealthily get into this house and, like, hang out and wait till everybody went to bed, and then you break through a fucking wall to get to these people.
Through a cabinet on top of that.
Not even a cabinet. It's like a bookshelf on a wall.
They couldn't decide they want to do Gremlins or like you said, Terminator.
They're like, oh, this is going too slow. We need some action.
We need a big movie monster moment. Apparently every executive is a cigar-smoking shithead from New York.
The fucking slime balls abound. So he's fighting Shelly in the kitchen, but, like, he doesn't kill her. He's like, oh, I just want the baby. Like, just fucking hand it over. But in this instance, we're finally in another room with another person. So Hildy's there, and Rump wastes no time snapping her fucking neck.
He picks her up and just, like, pops her neck like it's a fucking Rice Krispie treat or some shit like that. It's just like a pretzel. He's like...
She's like, Shelly, run! Shelly, get out of here!
Like, she's gonna stop her.
Yeah.
Hey, took care of that, bitch. Where's the baby?
Yeah. And he starts running after Shelly again.
Rump's got a mouth.
He's got a little mouth on him.
He is very talkative.
He just keeps jumping back and forth between, like, ye old English and, like, modern English.
Oh, trust me. I'm going to touch on that in a little while.
He's like, oh, this century hath hurt my throat and shit like that. And then he's just like, come on, lady, just give me the goddamn baby, would you?
Give me the baby.
And it's just like, what the fuck are we trying to do here?
I think this is like a post-Freddy Krueger effect.
Oh, for sure. I mean, well, again, we're hot off the fucking trails of the first Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, the monster has to crack wise and has to be relatable and has to be kind of hip.
Yeah, well, he's the fucking hippest cat this side of fucking Europe, apparently.
This side of the fucking Dark Ages, let me tell you. All he needs is some sunglasses.
Don't worry, he just might get your wish.
Oh, it's coming. So we have another run-in with the car.
Second time he's been running over.
He's not even run over this time. Right. He, like, goes to grab the car, and the fucking car just, like, takes his arm off.
Which is a good thing, because he really need to get all those worms and maggots out of there.
Yeah, but before it does, it fucking gives her the finger through the windshield and then slides off the car.
Shit, I forgot about that.
This leads us to give me your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle, correct?
Ah, fuck, you beat me to it, man. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your steed.
Another Terminator reference.
So this fucker pulls up on a motorcycle and he's like, hey, fucking freak, get out of the road. And he's like, oh, he's like a metal steed. Oh, he's got weird armor on this knight.
And then, of course, he threatens him with the switchblade.
Oh, he pulls out a fucking butterfly knife and does all this shit and getting all fancy.
You can't be a thug in the 90s without having a switchblade. How does he kill this guy? Would he just pop his head right off?
No. His patented move that he has used several times at this point, just like reached his arm up and threw them like Superman.
Yeah, like the lift throw, and we're treated to the fucking first of many Wilhelm screams.
Oh my god.
Yeah!
This guy screams like 3 or 4 times over themselves. He's like, and then just like falls over to the left.
And then Rump makes his debut on his fucking motorcycle.
This is where he had sunglasses, right?
Yeah.
At night.
This song kicks up and it's like,
My kind of world. Yes, my kind of world.
it's like the worst fucking shitty butt rock. They couldn't get Bad to the Bone, apparently, so they got this song instead. So he's on this fucking motorcycle with this with fucking shades on, driving around, shifting like fucking crazy. Like, how do you know how to drive this motorcycle?
Yeah, he is driving a motorcycle, which, by the way, I'm a human being born in this century, and I couldn't even drive a moped properly, okay, without busting my ass. This motherfucker, who was born probably 3,000 years ago, who has been gone for 1,000 years, gets in a motorcycle and has no problems. Doesn't even tip over his first time.
No, he's got these sweet fucking biker boots on, and he's just shifting left and right and fucking enjoying it.
Fuck you, movie.
He's coming for Baby John.
Fuck you, movie. Is this not also when he was smoking a cigar?
Shortly thereafter, well, you have Shelly somehow maneuvering her car to hit the fucking fire hydrant. She's like, yes!
The first of a few times where, like, a car hits something and literally just, like, falls over and there's, like, no damage to the car at all. She fucking pops this fire hydrant and it just starts shooting all over the street and she drives away. And Rump, like, turns the corner and just fucking slides out in this fucking water.
Oh, he eats shit. This was he rolls like 8 times and this bike slides to the front of the camera. Like, if this was a stuntman doing this, it looked like he really fucked himself up.
So without missing a fucking beat, we get a goddamn Mack truck pulling up, and the dude pulls over and gets out, and he's like, holy shit, man, you all right? And he fucking smacks this dude's head right off his shoulders.
Oh, that's right. This is the guy whose head he popped off.
Well, he did the once again, he lifted and threw him, but then somehow the head fucking was the only thing that got detached.
Yeah, and this scene is complete with a new song. Like, there was a song for the motorcycle bit, like, specifically for that, and now here's another song specifically for the Mack truck.
Okay, yeah, this is basically where any joy I had in this movie began to die.
Well, you know, you had to top that scene off where he has the sunglasses and he goes out of his way to take them off and put it on the decapitated head.
There's just the rest of this movie, no joke, the rest of this movie is just vehicular shenanigans.
That's all it is.
That's it!
It's like Duel with Rumpelstiltskin.
It just becomes excuses to be like, well, I'm gonna blow up a Mack truck, and I'm gonna do this and this and this with a bulldozer. I'm gonna light this on fire.
We got this at our expense, and we gotta blow it up.
As you were saying, Connor, you know, he gets a cigar and, you know, he takes a few puffs. He goes, huh, just what I need. Another bad habit.
And then once again climbs into the seat of advanced technology for him and uses it with no problems whatsoever.
Must have took many a blacksmith to make this.
And he goes, yeah, I love this. He's like, made in America. How does he even know he's in America? He's just like figured it out in the last day.
How does he know what the fuck America is?
I mean, if he knows how to drive a motorcycle on a fucking Mack truck, he knows a lot more than I do.
It's fucking so stupid.
If the answer is he's omnipotent, fine, cool, whatever, he's a demon. But you give me no context for this. He's immediately cracking wise and understanding things that he should know business understand. A Mack truck should fucking terrify him. That's a war machine to someone who's from the Dark Ages.
And he's fucking loving it, though.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can drive this thing, no problem.
And then he's smoking his fucking cigar, and he's just fucking... He keeps on trucking.
And there's just like 15 more shots of him just like moving the wheel back and forth, puffing his cigar, making jokes.
They
Pulling the horn.
Yeah, they reuse a shot of him pulling the horn and laughing like 10 fucking times throughout the next half hour.
Like this movie is not good. It's enjoyable up until this moment, and then this movie, for the rest of it, just becomes amateur bullshit. It is inexcusably terrible at this point.
We're making it up as we go along, and it shows in this particular part. So Shelly, I guess, runs out of gas or some shit.
She like overheats the car. I think.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, she's taking the baby up to the mountain, like that house that
Hildy's
that
parents'
Hildy's
house.
parents'
She said
house,
that
or
she
what
can
have
use
you.
it in a previous scene.
Yeah. So she's out of gas, or like I guess she forgot to fucking change her oil or some shit. So the car's all fucked up on the side of the road, and all she's wearing is like a t-shirt because she had to run out of the house, and she was in her, like basically in her underwear. And we're introduced. This is the second time we meet Andrew Dice Clay. The first time is in the beginning where he's like on a television. She's like, I fucking hate that jerk off. And all of us are going, yeah, lady, we know he's a fucking asshole. So here comes this prick, and he's fucking driving this truck, and he's going camping, and he's got like this boat tied to the back. And he pulls over, and obviously this woman is in distress, okay? The fucking car's all fucked up. She's in her fucking drawers with a t-shirt on, and she's got a baby in the car. And he gets out, and he's just shooting from the fucking hip with these jokes, man. He's like...
He is immediately, utterly, and irreparably detestable. He is awful. He is a fucking terrible human being. He's not funny. He's way too into himself. I couldn't stand any moment he was on screen. He ruined this piece of shit movie for me.
P.S. This guy was a comedian in real life, so I feel like he was just like ad-libbing the shit out of this movie. Like, oh, he's funny, man. Just let him do his own jokes.
Oh, that makes it even worse. If this was his ad-libbing, I don't want to see him write. I want to see him disappear.
He gets out, and she's like, oh my god, you gotta help me. And she's obviously in like distress, and she's like, hey, you look pretty fucking hot in your underwear.
He's just staring at her like naughty bits downstairs.
Yeah, like over the sunglasses.
And just cracking jokes about it. And she's like, motherfucker, my car broke down and I have a baby inside of it. Focus.
She's basically talking around circles with this fucking guy because he just won't listen. So she ends up grabbing the kid and putting it in the car. And he's like, hey, lady, you can't get into my car. Is that a baby? What the fuck is happening? I'm just trying to go camping.
This is not an exaggeration of his voice. This is how he actually sounds.
He's like, I've never had a baby in that truck.
I'm Max fucking whatever.
I think, like, he's only, what is he, in the final 30 minutes of the movie, basically?
Give or take.
He has more dialogue than anyone else in this movie. He speaks more than Rumpelstiltskin.
And his jokes are worse. And they're just falling flat everywhere.
Yes. He does not shut up.
He's got like one good line in the whole movie.
So they're driving in the car, and she's telling him the story, and he's like, hey, lady, this is a crazy story. Like, I gotta have this guy on my show. Then Rump, like, pulls up behind him, like, out of fucking nowhere. How he catches up, I have no idea.
And he's like, oh, good practical joke.
You guys busted me or whatever? Where's the hidden cameras? Did my agent do that?
Oh, where's my agent? My agent must have set this up. Hey, baby.
Hey! Oh!
And then Rump's like, oh, I love when a plan comes together. It's like, what plan?
What plan?
Oh my god, nope. I almost got up and fucking walked out of the room and turned the movie off. And then basically just told you, too, that I fuck this movie for the rest of the conversation because, okay, granted, the technology thing, fine. The slang, fine. How the fuck do you know what the A-Team is? How the fuck do you know what the A-Team is? How do you even know what a TV is?
Wait. What are you talking about?
What I just said.
I love it when a plan comes together. He says that verbatim.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Remember the guy wrote episodes for the A-Team?
He says it while smoking a cigar. It has like literal face impression.
Yep.
I didn't even get that.
God damn this movie.
Yeah, the fucking plan is get her, okay? That's the plan. Do is exactly as they say. So now the truck is going after them, and it's like the worst fucking chase scene ever.
We're stuck in an amoeba strip of a fucking chase scene that seems to never end.
Oh my god. And it just keeps cutting back to the same fucking scenes of Rumpel in the truck, and he's honking the horn going, ha ha! I'm coming, Johnny! I'm coming for you! So he rides up on him, and he's like fucking up this dude's boat that's on the back. He's like bumping into him, and he's like, just pull over already!
Oh, again, how does he understand the concept of pull over?
I don't know.
Right.
Look, just throw your fucking brain out the window because
you're not going to need it.
You're not going to fucking need it.
Oh, no, I was done. I was basically lobotomized as soon as Max was introduced.
None of this shit needs to make sense anymore.
If you ever watch this film, just start checking out. Right at this moment.
So then, they get a little distance on Rump. He decides to stop playing tag with the back of the guy's truck. And he gets out this little, what do you even call this fucking thing that he gets into?
Wait. Before he pulls out the go-kart, they like go over this huge bump, and he's like, oh my God, lady! He's like, hold on, lady! They fly over this ramp, and this fucking car just smacks the ground, and fucking everybody's flying around in the fucking car. Like, there's no way that baby didn't smack his fucking face on the roof of this fucking truck, man. So they drive away, and he's like, ha-ha, I did it, yeah, I'm pretty good at this hero shit. And I guess...
Yeah, because then Rump he's like, he'll never get over that.
Yeah.
And Rump just drives right through, and he's like, hey, he's a pretty good driver.
Hey, I'll give him that. So then he's like, wait, we got another problem. No brakes. And then his fucking cowboy regaliaed foot just is like stepping on the brake.
Yeah, you have to, because saying no brakes isn't good enough. You have to physically show us him slamming on the brakes with his foot.
Look, see, it doesn't work. So these people they gotta be doing like fucking 80 miles an hour, right? At least. And he's like, I can't stop. They fucking run right into a goddamn gas pump, and it just kind of falls over, and it's like, oh, okay.
It's fine. Which I guess also, they didn't have any brakes, and he was going full speed, and this gas pump was just solid enough to stop the car dead in its tracks with only a slight impact just to tip over the gas pump. Just a little bit.
The fucking baby's going through the front window. The fucking mother's going through everybody's gonna die, okay? If not explode. So Max is like, I remember this guy. He like steals babies and shit. And I just don't understand how they have time to like regroup and form this plan. Like, Rumpelstiltskin's right behind them in a fucking Mack truck.
They managed to gain on him, like, put so much distance between them. He has time to come up with this cockamamie plan of pretending to have a baby and then getting into a go-kart. That actually happened. He, like, wraps the blanket up and gets into a little, like, zippy car. Like, a literal fartmobile, just like... and then outruns an 18-wheeler. Fuck you.
Yeah, and the whole time it's clearly a stunt double wearing these Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking sunglasses.
Yeah. Which he doesn't have in the next scene.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the whole time it's being dubbed over with these like bad one-liners like
There is so much terrible Max ADR in this movie.
There's so many bad dubbing throughout the whole fucking movie. People's lips are not moving to the fucking words in a lot of scenes in this.
So then you have Max, he goes to the edge of the cliff, because Rumpelstiltskin has a lot of trouble with cliffs in this movie.
Oh, well, he pulls up and he's like, I got your baby right here. And he's like, and he finds out that Max doesn't have the baby.
He goes, no baby? Shit. And Max, he stalls out and he goes, it's Bruce Willis time. And he fucking guns it at the last second.
Yeah.
And Rump goes off the side and blows up like in Groundhog Day.
Okay, no. He goes off the side and says this phrase. He says, fucketh me.
Which doesn't even make fucking sense. That's not how that works.
I want you to know that my hands are over my face right now having to say that out loud. Because I'm so angry at this film at this point.
So Rump takes a dive, and the whole rig explodes.
I might add that basically the tanker section blows up a full second before the cab blows up, and like it's two completely separate explosions. It's not like the tanker blew up and then caused the cab to blow up. No, the tanker blew up and kind of just sat there and burned independently, and then like maybe a second half later, the cab just pops. And maybe because Fury Road has spoiled me, and now I know what cool explosions look like, or this movie's just a steaming pile of shit.
It's like an exploding steaming pile of shit.
Yeah, well, I guess is worse, because now you need a fucking umbrella. So Max runs him off the cliff, and he's like, yeah, fuck you, Rumpelstiltskin, how'd you like that? And then he fucking, for some reason, has this goddamn go-kart in reverse, and this asshole runs himself backwards down the same cliff that Rump just went over, and like gets knocked out.
Hey, do you like pratfalls?
I've been in a go-kart before. I've had a go-kart tip over. I was fine. This thing tips over at the speed of like maybe a fucking jet ski going 0 would in the water, okay? It slowly tips over, and then he goes, and then just kind of
falls asleep.
There's no impact. Nothing happens to him. He just closes his eyes and goes limp.
And it's the same with the gas pump. He just like bumps it, and then everybody's like, fuck!
As if someone hit him with a tranquilizer off screen. He just goes, blip.
So then we just cut right back to the wreck, and apparently Shelly has like, fetched the sheriff or whatever, and like they find them on the side of the road. Rump's all fucking burnt up in the cab.
This officer asks no questions.
No, not at all.
He takes everything. I guess he took this at face value, and he's like, yeah, cool, burned up 18-wheeler, guy in a go-kart. This doesn't look weird at all.
I think the baby's the free pass in this particular situation, where he's like, I guess you're not bullshitting me because you have a kid.
Well, you have a baby, so any story you're telling me is automatically true.
You know, Rump comes out, he looks like Kentucky grilled chicken.
Oh, yeah. He just like, yeah, he has like a burnt outer skin that he just pulls off
He
his
just
face.
rips it off like it's barbecue fucking ribs.
Which, okay, I noticed something when he did this. He pulls his burnt skin off, implying that he can heal himself, but he peels his skin off and has all the same scars and stitches and cuts.
Oh, yeah, they stay. I don't know what they're from, but...
And then he decides, okay, this time I'm going to kill somebody, not by grabbing them by the throat and throwing, I'm going to take my own head off.
He goes, let me make it easy for you. And I'm like, how the fuck is this easy?
Yeah, rips his own fucking head off and then bites the guy in the neck.
You can't even safely say he bites him in the neck because there's no blood, there's no wound, there's nothing. He holds his face up to this dude's neck, and then he just goes, ah! And then you cut. There's no body, there's nothing. There's no blood, there's no wound, there's no confirmation this guy is dead, and then Rumpel just puts his head back on and keeps going.
Well, no, it gets fucking smacked out of his hands.
Yeah, because this is clearly a comedy.
I was gonna say, this is basically Looney Tunes at this point.
Fucking Max comes up and was it Shelly or Max?
One of them, and then he's, of course he's directing the head or the body in the background. Oh, one step left, one step right. Bastards.
Warmer. Get it? So they take the cop car, and Max is like, oh, shit, now we're outlaws. They're going to be looking for us, and fuck, this cop's dead, and blah, 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 blah. So they hold up in this, like, fucking abandoned gas station, or I think it's the same gas station where they were at.
Yeah, and they put on their Winter Olympic fucking jackets.
Yeah, and they're making coffee and shit. She like makes some coffee, and he finds this dirty old fucking straw doll and gives it to the kid. And Rump is like magically there already, and he like looks at the window. And he's like, oh no, not straw. Fuck. And then we're like, oh, okay, so straw hurts this guy.
And then 11 billion cops show up out of nowhere.
Oh, they kicked the fucking door down.
It's like the end of LA Confidential. It just
Here's this shitty comedian and this woman and her baby. And then they're like, oh, come on, cop killer, you fucks. And they like pull them out of the place, and they're like cuffing these people and like putting them in the car. And they like split up the baby and Shelly and Max, and they drive them to the station. And now here we get another fucking tasty Terminator tidbit.
Well, Rump, he's chasing after them to the jail, and he's running through the woods. He's like, yes, I smell a baby. Smells like a baby named Johnny. And you cut to the jail cell, and Max standing there all depressed, and he's holding the bars. He goes, oh my God, I can't believe it. You actually do hold the bars. Deep Thoughts with Max Bergman.
This movie needs like 50 foghorns. Just every time this guy opens his mouth.
Sad trombone. So we're at the police station, and this lady cop is playing with the kid to get him to stop crying, and takes like the straw doll away from him. So
Barb from Stranger Things. Barb sucks. I said it here.
Oh, fuck you.
So Rump, he shows up to the front desks, and they tell him that he can't come in, so he says, I'll be back. And he doesn't actually do that. It might have been better if he did. He came back in with the Mack truck.
And he's spinning a shotgun in his hands. That doesn't happen either.
Yeah, I need the baby John. Where is he?
Baby John Connor was actually the kid's full name, which you didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so instead of sending back a fucking T-800, they were like, shit, let's send back Rumpelstiltskin. And he's like, I'm here for the baby John Connor.
I mean, it wouldn't be the most ridiculous thing Skynet has done. Yeah, we get a full-on Terminator police station siege with Rumpelstiltskin.
This sequence, it tries to be scary a little bit.
That's what my problem with this movie is. Like, it starts off as like, hey, we're gonna be kind of like a cheeky horror film, and then just devolves into just silly non-comedy hijinks, and then this happens.
They take it really seriously from this point on, with Rumpelstiltskin anyway. Like, the character be like he's not fucking around anymore. He's like, all right, this was fun, but now I need this fucking kid because the sun's coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he's like cracking jokes, and then he's impaling people with flags. He's throwing people through windows. He's like, what else is he doing? He's committing acts of actual carnage.
So he impales a cop on an American flag, and then another cop comes in, and like we don't see what happens to that cop. It just cuts to the cop back, and he like falls down, and Rumpelstiltskin like runs across the room and like jumps on him, and he's like, where's the fucking baby? Then the sheriff comes in, and he's like, I've come for the baby John, where's the baby? And so the sheriff like shoots him and wastes all his bullets. And Rumpelstiltskin's like, now it's my turn. And he takes the fucking gun from the sheriff and like conjures up bullets into the fucking gun? How do you even know how a bullet works? How do you know the mechanics of the fucking gun?
If you have the ability to conjure up weapons out of nowhere, how have you taken this goddamn long to achieve your task?
Anyway, he shoots the fucking sheriff. Barb fucking gets it hard. She gets fucking picked up and thrown right out the fucking window.
In the exact same fashion as he did earlier in the film, where it's a straight up head dive through a plate of glass.
So he actually gets the baby, and you're thinking like, oh shit, the movie's over. That's it. Like, they're in the jail cell.
That's where it should have ended.
How the fuck are they gonna get out? And he's got the kid, and he's gone. And it's like, oh shit, that was pretty dark. That would have been good.
Actually, be a tremendous ending to the film.
But it's not over yet.
Yeah, the sheriff crawls over like he's in a war movie, and
He's shot to shit.
yeah, he crawls over, filled, with bullets. You gotta save the baby, and he unlocks the door.
Before he's like, you fucking cop killers, get in the jail cell. Now he's like, you gotta save that baby. You gotta save him. So he gives him the keys, and they get out.
Right, we need Matilda. We need to call Matilda. She knows how to beat him.
We don't even know where the fuck they are. She's like, I got the receipt. I'm like, lady, you haven't had your purse since the first time you went over your fucking friend's house.
You were literally in a shirt and underwear in the previous sequence.
Yeah, like, you didn't have shit. You just had the kid.
She kept it in a safe place.
I had the receipt. It's in my butt.
So they get into a car? Like, they just hotwire a car? How does that work?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I think because it's
They just steal a car that's on,
it's like a convertible that's just chilling outside.
Yeah.
So they get into the car and they're driving. They're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Like, we gotta find them. And then you hear like snores coming out of the back seat, and they're like, what the fuck is that? They throw the blanket off, and who the fuck is in the back seat taking a snooze?
Rumpel goddamn Stiltskin.
No, not Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Matilda.
It's Matilda. She's sleeping in the back of this fucking convertible.
I thought it was Rumpelstiltskin at first.
What the fuck? What the fuck? How did she get there?
This is the laziest writing I've ever seen. Like, it's just like, well, we have to have her find Matilda. Fuck it, Matilda finds them. Fuck it, we gotta get to the bulldozer sequence. Let's go, come on, make it hurry up.
So then she's telling them how to beat Rump. You could beat him with fire and chaff, or also known as straw, and you need to do it before midnight. Blah, 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 blah. So meanwhile, Rump breaks out the glitter again. It pulls his best impression of the Wicked Witch of the West, and he zooms in on what's happening.
Poppy.
Sleep.
So then he sees her giving them all the intel on how to kill him, and he goes, can't let that happen. And he force chokes her to death through the fucking crystal ball.
When did he get that fucking power?
Once again, inconsistencies in his abilities. If he could choke someone from miles away, why the fuck didn't he just do that in the first place and get his baby, and the movie would be over?
Exactly.
And then he wouldn't have lost an arm. He would have been hit by 2 cars. He would have been set on fire.
Well, he makes it very clear that he likes the pain, so I guess that's his angle.
He brings the pain.
But he's running out of fucking time now, so now he's pulling out all these fucking magic tricks out of his bag.
Rumpelstiltskin is the most procrastinating demon I've ever seen in my whole life.
So he chokes this woman, and she's like not dead yet. She's just like on the ground, and she's still talking to them.
What I have learned is if you can talk, you can breathe.
Oh yeah, and guess what? Your windpipe is not crushed. She's like, oh, come on, Max, can't you see she's dying? And I'm like, of what? What is she dying of? Cancer?
Was she choking on a peanut?
So they arrive at the graveyard.
Well, wait, there's a plot dump where she's like, look, you gotta get to the graveyard before he puts the baby in a beloved mother's arms, and the fucking Jupiter aligns with Saturn, and the moon rises, and the blood covers the thing, and then fucking magic and lightning.
Yeah, the movie suddenly decided to stop and remind us that the plot was important.
Yeah, but like, we never like told about this at all. Like, I thought he was just gonna go to a quiet place and like set a fucking blanket out and eat the baby John.
Basically, what she says is the entire plot of like Halloween 3 condensed into like 4 sentences.
So instead of eating this baby, there's like this whole ritual where like he steals a soul or some shit. So anyway, they have to go to the graveyard, and there's only one fucking graveyard.
Rumpelstiltskin's dancing around like Golem.
So he gets to the graveyard, and it turns out like the baby doesn't have to be in like his mother's arms, just a beloved mother. So he digs up a fucking corpse and puts the baby in the arms of this corpse.
Is this before or after he summons Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus?
No. This is before that. Before he fucking exercises his powers of necromancy. I guess he just keeps getting more powerful as the night goes on. I don't know.
He does. As the film goes on, he gets more and more abilities.
So they get to the graveyard, and they're like, oh my god, how are we gonna stop him? And he's like,
You'll never stop me. I'm Vigo.
the sorrow of Moldavia. So he's summoning fucking corpses and like keeping them back, and then he shoots them with like a fucking some kind of energy ball, and they fall down, and they're like, fuck, we can't get him this way. We got to figure something else out.
He shoots them with the inside of those spheres from Spencer's.
So Max is like, ah, shit, I got an idea. Come on back. I saw this place when we were driving here. And I'm like, okay, so you drove past this place and you saw a big stack of straw and a bulldozer inside a building.
And you didn't think to stop?
I don't understand the need to like suddenly, first of all, I don't understand the need for Max's character to begin with, and then suddenly they just shift and make him the hero of the film.
Yeah, well, I guess because he knows how to drive a bulldozer, which I fucking doubt. Well, that doesn't matter because there's fucking creatures from the 1400s that can fucking drive motorcycles. So they load this thing up with fucking straw and they light it on fire and they go back to the cemetery. He's going to chase after Rump with the straw and he's like, ah, fuck burning straw. That's my only weakness. It's my kryptonite. And he gets stuck in this little tiny pothole. Like, it's a fucking bulldozer. Like, it'll go right over that.
Yeah, Rump goes, his fire-breathing dragon gave out.
So he starts driving the fucking bulldozer again, and he's chasing after Rumpelstiltskin, and it's like that scene from fucking Austin Powers where the guy's like, stop, when he's driving the fucking steamroller.
Yeah.
And he's just like running away from this thing so goddamn slow. So he finally catches up with Rump and fucking dumps his ass into this bucket, and he just starts lighting on fire, and then he drives the fucking bulldozer into a telephone pole, and he like gets his arm stuck like in the gear, and it's this like shitty like suspense that's not suspenseful at all. And then he jumps out of the bulldozer, hits the fucking telephone pole, and electrocutes the bulldozer and fucking explodes. Now he's exploded, and they get out, and they're like, oh great, the movie's over. And they're like, no, it's not over yet. So Rump is like crawling towards him, and she's like, where's my baby? And he's like, fucking never tell you where the baby is. And he's like, you'll have to kill me or whatever. So she has to say this chant. And take a wild fucking guess what this chant is.
She says Beetlejuice 3 times.
She goes, Beetlejuice, 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 the dawn will take you all. And then he's back into the troll egg. You working with a professional here. So she's like, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin. And he's like, fuck. And then he turns.
He's like, who told you?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean who told you? We've been calling you this the whole film.
We fucking read it in the first 10 minutes of the fucking movie, asshole. She never says it to him.
Exactly. Like, she had the knowledge to defeat him an hour prior in the film, which is like days prior in the film's timeline, and doesn't use this knowledge to her advantage at all.
She just wanted all those cops to be murdered.
We're dragging shit out. Like, that should have been part of Matilda's exposition. Like, that's fucking Rumpelstiltskin. And you gotta say his name.
Instead of telling us what planets were aligning and what blood would fill what, just say his name 3 times.
So he turns back into the fucking troll egg, and they find the baby, who he said they'd never find, but he's
find
like
it immediately.
He's like right next to them.
You'll never find it. Oh, you found it.
Well, then Max, he picks up the living turd and he whips it like he's fucking trying to skip a stone.
No, he's like, I wonder if I still got the old arm. And I'm like,
yeah,
you never played football.
Yeah, because apparently we're supposed to know he was an old football player.
Well, apparently he only played t-ball because he fucking throws this thing and it just hits like the edge of the friggin' water.
It doesn't fully go into the lake.
Yeah, it lands like 40 feet away from where he's trying to throw it, and then just tumbles into the water.
Yeah, but it's like right on the bank. Like, it's like half in the water, half on the land, and then the next shot is it sinking to the bottom of the lake.
He's like, I saw the mask. He did it. I could do it too.
You could kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember if they have a little epilogue scene.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Well,
go back to the Jumanji reference.
No, I was gonna say, okay, yeah. No, I was wondering if Shelly and Douchebag had an epilogue scene. I don't remember.
So he throws this fucking thing onto the bank of the river, and it sinks to the river or whatever. And they walk off into the sunset, and everything's fine. And he's like, "Hey, I think the baby likes me. You want to fuck?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Which is the appropriate response, because he is an unlikable turd.
Thank God they didn't like kiss at the end of this movie, because holy shit.
Oh, it would have shattered everything. Like, not this movie had much to run on, but like it would have completely unraveled at that point.
So then we fade to black and we're like, huff, and I'm like, okay, here's the fucking credits. Nope, fade back up.
Jumanji.
You played a game, Sarah. A game with drums.
I was that little boy, Rumpelstiltskin. No, so you hear the you hear the Jumanji drums fucking banging around, and this little girl who I thought was from Pinocchio's Revenge, but it turns out she's not. But she sounds exactly. She might be because she's not credited.
Here's the thing: like, if they're gonna do this extra ending, end it right when she picks it up and looks at it. Why do I need to have this elongated scene of her running it to her mother? Hey, mom!
This bullshit presumptuous sequel build.
If they did the sequel, like, is Rump just gonna go after this woman, or he's like, where the hell is Shelly? I still need to get baby John.
No, man, it's gonna be Rump in the Hood, come to do no good.
Can we just, I think we can probably just end the show right there on that line. That was fantastic. That's it. We're done. The podcast is over. There'll be no episode 4.
So he shows it to her, they show it to the mom, and it's like, oh, that's great, honey, take it home. And it's like, oh, dun dun dun. And that's it. And then we get treated to the same fucking motorcycle music again.
My kind of
My kind of world. Ah, fuck me.
And then the movie is mercifully over, and I went right to bed.
So where in the dumpster would you place this?
Oh, this is the bottom. I wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy. I hated this film.
This for me is like it's right next to like that half-eaten cheeseburger and like a moldy sandwich. Not too deep. Like I can move some shit out of the way and find this like near towards the top for me because while it's just fucking stupid, it's hilarious because of how shitty it is. And some of the effects are really fun. And, it's a little, I have an affinity for like weird creature movies, and Rump is definitely one of those weird creatures.
I wish I had any kind of affection for this movie after it was all said and done. But like the second half is such a fucking turnoff for me. If the second half of the movie didn't feature Max at all, I'd probably feel differently. But the fact they put this like, hey baby, douchebag, in the last 45 minutes completely unnerved me and put me off. And I was bummed because like the first half I was like, this feels like Wishmaster, and that makes me happy. It feels like Wishmaster, and it kind of, I wouldn't say it follows the same beats, but it kind of has a similar, it's similar in tone.
Hey, they both fall apart in the third act.
Yeah, yup. Wishmaster's jokey, but like it's way heavier on the lol ironic wish stuff, which is completely absent in this. There could have been more of that, but there's none of it, except for Rump banging the main character and then being like, ha, give me a child.
You gotta wait 9 months.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go off of your cheeseburger analogy. I mean, I kind of would be in the same ballpark as you, but I'd eat that cheeseburger. You might just, take it out and observe it and say, I probably should put this back. Like, I actually like this movie a lot. And
I put this movie as the decomposing dead body I buried at the bottom of a dumpster I don't want anybody to find. Well below both of your cheeseburgers.
Yeah, no, totally.
God,
I mean, the cheeseburger was, the prior owner was your decomposed body. I think, like, the reason why I like this movie maybe more than you or even Joe is just, like, the character of Rumpelstiltskin, like, no matter how off the rails this movie goes, like, his character is just so fucking ridiculous that, like, I don't know, like, I feel like he almost, like, it sounds stupid for, like, a crappy B movie, but, like, he kind of, like, transcends the film.
Like you said, we're gonna watch this. I was like, I know that cover. It's very, very much in my brain. Like, it wasn't like, Rumpelstiltskin, what's that? I knew exactly what film you're talking about without having seen it, because I know that image. I know this design.
And, I mean, I would probably recommend it to people, sure. Just only because I think it's so funny, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I wouldn't tell someone that it's a scary horror movie. I would say it's cheesy and it's funny. Like,
I would say it's fucking garbage, and you should check it out because it is garbage.
Yeah,
right.
Have a couple beers, get some people over, and just get shit hammered and watch this fucking thing.
It's a Red Letter Media best of the worst contender. And like I said earlier, it is easily qualifiable for Mystery Science Theater in a heartbeat. It also, I took notes, and it felt like 90s horror is very weird to me, because 90s horror seems to always have one of two things. They're always brightly lit, and they always have weird synthesizer music.
Not even, the brightly lit part, but they're always trying to be hip.
Yes, that too. God, the 90s hip attitude, like, play it loud bullshit campaigns that's Super Nintendo and Genesis ran against each other. That's this in a fucking heartbeat.
Hey, I'm the killer, but I'm cool.
I'm cool. I'm the quippy killer, because Freddy is now 10 years removed.
Yeah, somebody's got to fill those shoes.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's like I said, when it felt like Wishmaster, and bits of Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh man, what if Rump like exploded in the car and then like the cop like ate his heart? And then Rumpelstiltskin like bursted out of his chest. That'd be pretty cool. This movie would go up 5 points extra for that.
I hate Jason Goes to Hell, but I still think it's a lot better than this.
It's a shitty movie, dude. I don't know. I'd rather watch Rumpelstiltskin again than Jason Goes to Hell.
It is a shitty movie. You know what? I think I'd also rather watch Rumpelstiltskin than Jason Goes to Hell. I know people who are like, oh, Jason Goes to Hell is so good and so different. I'm like, no, it's different, yes, but it's still terrible.
Well, that's it. That was Rumpelstiltskin. If you want some more bad movie goodness, you can check us out at MovieDumpsterPodcast.com. Follow us at Movie Dumpster on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also check out our sister podcast, The Phantom Zone, hosted by our very own Connor McGraw. You can find them at phantomzonepodcast.wordpress.com. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
Fuck, it's me!